WWE Call On Audible, AEW C2 lineup revealed, and my review of Monday Netflix Raw, which includes one of the greatest botches of the year. I'm Ollie Davis, and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Despite the silliness of what Bret Hart once described as men play fighting in spandex, professional wrestling can be too grown up at times. Over the last few years, we've had sexual misconduct allegations, backstage fights, and Mark Henry being annoyed Powerhouse Hobbs changed the name of his finisher. So when something silly does happen, we should embrace it. Which is why the top story in this news episode literally is Brock Lesnar fell over. That's it. He came out at the end of the 24th of November episode of Raw in the big Survivor Series War Games Go Home angle. He is the final boss of the heel team, and he was going to brawl with the baby faces in the ring. He stood at the top of the stage, did his beast stomp pose, but in perfect sync with his pyro, slipped and fell backwards. It's not the greatest botch ever. The Shockmaster and Titus World Slide will always have those accolades, but I do want to make an argument for Lesnar's 2025 return as being crap. Lesnar wasn't used in WWE for 2 years because of him being referenced multiple times in Janelle Grant's lawsuit against Vince McMahon. But WWE's legal team reportedly cleared him for a return leading into the summer, where he had a poorly received return angle laying out John Cena immediately following his great SummerSlam title loss to Cody Rhodes. He ripped his jeans during an appearance on SmackDown. He effectively squashed Cena at WrestlePalooza in what some believe to be one of the worst Cena matches of all time. Go to patreon.com/WrestleTalk to watch me, Luke, and Sandy Zap talk about that. And then he fell over here. So, in his handful of appearances, Lesnar has either embarrassed himself or been badly booked. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Unfortunately, also on Raw, a different botch had more serious ramifications. Very early on in the Solo Sikoa vs Penta match, which was a last time is now quarterfinal, Penta hit a Hurricane Rana off the barricade and landed hard on his shoulder. The referee and a medic quickly ran over to check on him, and Wade Barrett threw to a commercial break. When Raw rolled on afterwards, the match was called off due to Penta's injury, meaning Sikoa was declared the winner. Brian Alvarez has reported Penta dislocated his shoulder on the hard landing. He apparently tried to pop it back in to continue the match, which was scheduled for 12 minutes, not the 2 it ended up going, but the doctor unsurprisingly said no. This was when Wade called an audible and threw to a break, so producers backstage could tell Joe Tessitore what was happening. At first, this seemed like another injury ruining Cena's retirement tournament, following Sheamus having to be pulled several days previously. WWE finally revealed the brackets, which had the winner of this quarterfinal facing Gunther in the semis. With that in mind, you'd think Penta was the one who would advance to make it a heel versus face dynamic. But weirdly, the Wrestling Observer is reporting Sikoa was always scheduled to win the match, making the semi-final the heel Sikoa versus the heel Gunther. The sort of thing Triple H sends you a passive-aggressive email if you book in 2K's MyGM mode. It might significantly affect WWE's plans for next month's AAA show in Mexico City, though, where Penta was due to finally reunite with his brother Rey Fenix as the Lucha Bros to take on Dominic Mysterio and El Grande Americano. Before then, however, is Survivor Series. Those of you in the States, you could watch it on ESPN Plus Premium OTT Extra version 2, or save yourself some money and get Surfshark VPN.
So let us know what you think is going to happen at Survivor Series. Jam that jam.
Jam that jam.
Another great pod.
Remember the 5th of November.
Sorry, what? Are you okay, Ollie?
No, it's the anniversary of me being attacked horribly by cruel cyber criminals.
Well, this is brand new information you've never mentioned before.
I've never mentioned it before! It's because it's my greatest shame. There I was, having come home from seeing some fireworks. I was busy uploading pictures from the fireworks show to my laptop, knowing full well that I would never view them ever again. And then it happened. I clicked on an email that was rightly saying that I was very cool and correct about everything, and all I had to do was click on a link and I would be able to discover who was going to win the main event of Survivor Series 2024. But as soon as I clicked it, my computer went mad. Pop-up after pop-up after pop-up. I was clicking like crazy, but I couldn't stop it. So I decided to take my computer out back, like any good computer owner should do, and shoot it like a dog. End of flashback.
Sounds like you need to get Surfshark.
Surfshark.
Yeah, Surfshark. Yes, you see, with Surfshark, you can now protect yourself from cybercriminals, keep your IP address anonymous, and also be able to watch content from all over the world with Surfshark VPN, which includes getting access to the UK version of Netflix for you Americans who have to watch things on ESPN. Also, you can use Surfshark on unlimited devices, and you can get an extra 4 months free if you use the coupon code WrestleTalk at surfshark.com/WrestleTalk. So secure your privacy now by clicking the link in the description.
That sounds amazing, and I can finally shed my anxiety about clicking things on the internet.
Surfshark, the safest way to click things on your tap pooter.
Over in AEW, they have finally announced the brackets for the Continental Classic tournament that will start on the 26th of November Dynamite and run over the next month and a half. The Gold League side will have Darby Allin, Pac, Kevin Knight, Mike Bailey, Carl Fletcher and Kazuchika Okada, while the Blue League will have Takeshita, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong and Mascara Dorada. Someone who isn't there, however, is Chris Jericho, which would have been objectively hilarious. Jericho hasn't been seen on AEW TV since April, and his contract reportedly expires at the end of this year. He has started referencing and even praising WWE publicly, heavily hinting he'll make his return, and now WWE has uploaded a bunch of images of him onto their Getty page. Getty Images is a site where publications can buy the license rights to use photos in their publications. The WWE has just uploaded a batch of Jericho making his first debut for them back in 1999, could be a sign that they're preparing for articles to come out early next year about Y26J's most recent return. But now it's time for my review of Monday Netflix Raw in about 5 minutes. It's the Survivor Series go-home show, which opened the same way last week's episode ended, with lots of long entrances. Roman Reigns came out and said his famous "acknowledge me" catchphrase. Cody Rhodes came out and asked his meme-rific "so what do you guys want to talk about?" And then CM Punk entered, still trying to make his "isn't it great to be alive in your hometown tonight?" line partial credit. And people say WWE is just entrances these days. Cody was skeptical of why Roman would help them, so Roman explained he loves the Usos and hates Paul Heyman and The Vision. Cody then said, "Sounds pretty good, OTC, I have no further questions. Welcome to the team." Thankfully, Punk actually created tension. He told Cody this is his team. It's Raw, where he's the champion. And Roman admitted that title would look way better over his shoulder, which was a really good setup to Punk and Cody asking, which title? Starting the build to one of the big WrestleMania directions. Who will Reigns fight? Unfortunately, it does come at the expense of the other Bloodline story WWE was telling. All of the little Roman work they were doing with Jay and Reigns' frustration with the Usos has been completely paused while War Games is happening. And it's a similar issue on the heel team. A month ago, Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed were being positioned as two of the top heels on Raw. But now, all their Seth turn momentum has been intentionally halted as they play second fiddle to Lesnar and Logan Paul in their Vision team. Heyman told them backstage that Drew McIntyre and Logan would fight the Usos in the main event to decide the advantage for War Games. Gunther had another terrific Last Time Is Now match, this time against Carmelo Hayes. The layout was very similar to the Javon Evans fight the previous week. Bully Gunther dominates until the underdog makes a comeback, but they added spots like Gunther accidentally chopping the ring post and a count-out victory tease for Hayes, off the back of how he beat Bronson Reed on SmackDown. Gunther won with a second powerbomb to advance, but Hayes still got over in defeat. So I cannot wait for him to do nothing on SmackDown for the next 6 months. But never mind 6 months in the future. What about 20 years in the past? Because Dominic Mysterio then did a comedy segment where he brought out a little person version of John Cena, complete with little person version of Stu the cameraman, which, if you're gonna go in this direction, was admittedly a good touch. Little Cena went into business for himself though, putting the GOAT over, so Dominic beat him up. For Rey Mysterio to make the very late save, like he could have run in way earlier to save the little person. This felt like that awkward Big Cass little person angle in his 2018 Daniel Bryan feud, and even then, That felt about 20 years out of date. Thankfully, this went into a very good TV match of Ray versus JD McDonough. Even though he always loses, it's been a good year for McDonough. Him completing a match with effectively crushed ribs impressed management, Punk puts him over in promos and on commentary whenever he can, and this was JD's second great performance in 4 days, following his fantastic US title open challenge match against Ilya Dragunov on SmackDown. He is one of the best mid-card wrestlers in the company. But sadly, his time isn't now. Finn's distraction backfired and Ray got the win. We got an advert promoting Cody Rhodes interviewing some guy from IT. There was a quite generic Lady War Games brawl where Becky Lynch put over her team while also negging them a bit, which brought out the baby faces one by one, and people say WWE is just entrances. Led by AJ Lee for a brawl, the faces stood tall. This was in lieu of any actual women's match on the episode, and the quality of Raw suffered for it, as the women's tags in particular have been some of the best segments in the last month. Solo Sikoa beat Penta via shoulder dislocation next. We got a clip of the Royal Rumble 2007 celebrating Cena's career, where we got to see his stupid face again. Ivy Nile and Roxanne Perez both squared up to Maxine Dupree backstage, setting up challenges for the Intercontinental title, but it'll probably be a heel-turning Natalya. Stephanie McCurk had a pre-filmed promo on Nikki Bella because that's a match that's happening. And the main event was McIntyre and Paul versus the Usos to decide who gets the advantage in the War Games match. So Jimmy's there to take the pin. While Logan had some good spots, like him flexing biceps with Drew in a double suplex, he totally lost his way early on, wrestling Jay. I'm stuck between wanting to blame Jay for botching and blaming Logan because I don't like him. It potentially exposed Logan, who's very good in pay-per-view matches he can rehearse, but not as experienced in weekly TV ones where he can't practice the spots as much. Breaker and Bronson predictably showed up, who were fought off predictably by Cody and Punk. Jay hit a dive outside on everyone which let Logan get a shock roll-up to give the heel team the advantage, as all War Games matches should. And then, in the best go-home angle for Survivor Series, Brock Lesnar fell over. This week's Raw is 72%. It's Survivor Series this Saturday, so click the video on screen now to watch Luke and I do all our predictions for the show in 3 words or less / fewer. It's the Survivor Series 3 count.